Hi, my name's Glenn Garvin, and I'm just a regular Mason guy, the dad and resident, and I don't get involved in local politics much. I don't pretend to know the history or dysfunction that's occurred with the city council in the past, and I don't have a lot of that backstory. I voted for a lot of the people who are on the city council now. But recently, I've been watching some of those city council meetings and the committee meetings, and I've kind of been appalled by what I've seen. I've taken some notes over the past few sessions and wanted to share them for whoever might be interested. I think I'll do three videos. This is the first. I wanted to break down what occurred between Councilman Chance and Councilman TJ Honorlaw and also Mayor Grossman. So first, let me lay some groundwork. On Saturday, March 28th, while discussing the ordinance proposal 2020-43 as presented by Josh Stricula, Councilman TJ Honorlaw called the potential small business aid program a handout. He said, it is a handout. It scares me, is what he said. I'll go into that more in a future session. But then 2 days later, TJ Honorlaw said that he heard from some people that may have been offended by him calling it a bailout or a handout. His apology felt a little empty as he followed the sorry with a big but and followed that with, if you look up the definition of what a handout is, that is what it basically says, something given free to a person or organization. That's a quote from what he said during that meeting. Councilman Chance was then a guest speaker on Scott Sloan's 700 WLW show about 9 days later, where Sloan described the Mason City Council accurately as a dumpster fire in discussing their inaction to take measures to help Mason small businesses. In discussing this, Councilman Chance said that Councilman Honorlaw, he said it was a bailout or a handout, or whichever way he said that. That's the quote from Councilman Chance. Then Chance said, that is not what this is. This money started out in private coffers and is part of the Economic Stability Fund. That is what this is supposed to be used for. Now, a quick side note, was that really what this was designed for, the Economic Stability Fund? It could be, not necessarily, but it could be. There's some claims, that this was for a rainy day fund for the council, for their own hedge fund in case they lost a big customer, big tax base. And it could also have been designed for a disaster like we're in now. But either way, these businesses were taxed for this and they paid into this fund. So ultimately, the council stability is based on the community stability, and whether that's a big business or a small business, we need those businesses in Mason. Okay, so now we go back. Scott Sloan then said about TJ Honorlaw, he said basically Honorlaw essentially equated those businesses with welfare queens. Is that what he did? Chance said pretty much. So flash forward to Monday night's council meeting. TJ Honorlaw said, I quote, "I've been misquoted. It is disheartening telling me that I've been accused of saying something that I didn't say. Another councilman saying something I didn't. I would never have said the terms Councilman Chance or Sloan falsely accused me of saying. Unimaginable that a councilman would attach such a term to me. Never said anything like that. It's damaged innocent people, me as well, and then also politically. Maybe that was your intent." He was looking at Councilman Chance when he said that, potentially assigning motive, which we know we don't want to assign motive. Honorlaw levied this accusation at Chance. When Chance was asked to clarify what he was saying, Mayor Kathy Grossman jumped in and said, he knows what it is. Maybe that's true, Kathy, maybe it's not. But for clarity's sake, it would have been good for the public listening to clarify what, and I'm not really sure that it was your place to interject in between those two council members having the discussion. Councilman went on to say, that's not what you said, kind of inferring that Chance was a liar. And then she said, you know what you said on a national radio show. She talked in a kind of condescending way to Chance, showing her disdain towards him. But it was then when she goes, you need to own it, with some degree of anger. So, that's where this kind of went again off the rails of the council meeting. So let's do a little fact check. Did Councilman Chance say that TJ Honorlaw called business welfare queens? Nope, he didn't. And to be fair, not that I know, it doesn't seem that TJ Honorlaw ever did call them a welfare queen. Seems like that was Scott Sloan's own vernacular that he came up with. Did Councilman Chance correct Scott Sloan's statement when he equated Honorlaw's statement to being a welfare queen? No, he didn't do that either. Did Kathy Grossman accuse Chance of saying that? Not exactly, but she kind of inferred that he did say this, which is not great. Did Sloan and Chance equate welfare queens to handout? Yes and no. Let's clear up what that means with welfare queen. What is a welfare queen? Most people really can't define it specifically, but it refers to a person who collects excessive welfare, perhaps fraudulently living off social safety net programs dependent on the government. Well, what's the inference of a handout? Is that people will be dependent on a government program. By its basic definition, your hand is out to receive. So yes and no. Is it the best analogy that Sloan used? No. But is it incredibly far off base either? No, not really either. So ultimately, we got to look at what the intent was here. TJ Honor Law said in the last council meeting said we took a long time to apologize to the public for how we've conducted meetings. Who is we, and when was there a lot of time? I don't think that's exactly true. I don't remember the city council apologizing for their behavior, and they do owe an enormous apology for their behavior and choosing to value political maneuvering above their constituents. Clearly, Honor Law and Grossman were ganging up on Chance. They didn't like what he said on WLW. I can't imagine they didn't. They didn't like being called the dumpster fire. They didn't like that social media has become a venue for people to talk about these important issues. I could understand that. But at the same time, they haven't answered even the emails that the public has sent them, and they haven't allowed any public commentary at the council meetings. These people are public officials, elected and paid, and they are playing the victim card in what equates to a grade school playground arguments and turf wars. They've shown shallow egos and fragility, those petty things that become more important than serving the people that elected them and supporting their business community. Ultimately, my determination is that this is pretty petty. Honor Law has shown through his words and his actions disdain for any bailout or handout. Personally, I think we should have some social safety net for people to pull themselves out of a pit, but I'm not a fan by any stretch of continued entitlement programs. So I don't disagree necessarily with his fundamental. I mean, he's shown incredible disdain. However, this is not just an entitlement program. These businesses have been harmed through no fault of their own through government-mandated shutdown. I do believe Honor Law has some compassion in his heart for these businesses, but something's holding him back from acting. I can't speculate on what his motives are, but I've listened to all of this, and there was no slander. There was no miscarriage of justice. There was no the reactions and demands for apologies are overly dramatic, and the council members need to get down to representing the people of Mason. You work for us. Stop messing around.